Hi guys, so I just actually got back from eating dinner, and today I am not riding Chance. I am riding another one of the Barnes horses who is actually a new member. His name is Jet, and he is going to be a lesson horse for some of the lesson girls because the staff here have decided that they are going to be hosting a summer camp over the summer, and they are getting some like horses that are kid friendly because most of the horses here are other people's horses, and they are like Olympic horses for like cross country, dressage, show jumping, that all that kind of stuff. So they're not right for beginners. So today I'm going to be working with Jet because right now Jet still has so much energy and a long ways to go before he is ready for kids to ride him. And yeah, so today I am riding Jet, not Chance. Chance was pretty jealous, but I gave him some pats and hugs, and I fed him a bunch of treats. So yeah, Jet's back here in this stall, and they did get a few new horses. They got Jet and Pepper. Pepper is already suitable for children to ride, so nobody's worried about Pepper. It's just Jet, who is a handful, and later while I am riding, you will see what I mean by Jet is a handful. He is super, he just wants to go all the time, which is okay. And we're going to be having kids that are interested in jumping do, like, kind of ride him. Because he is kind of just a jumping horse. So we're going to have kids jump him, and we're going to have kids, we're going to obviously have kids jump him, like I said, and we are going to have kids do flat work with him. But before they have, like, children ride Jet, they want me to ride Jet to kind of get him equipped for kids. And guys, quickly, pretend you never saw this part of the video. It's acting, the salter isn't working. Pretend you guys never saw this part of the video, Just like, be like you never saw it. Okay, so, yeah. So I am riding Jet today, and he is being very stubborn and doesn't want to come out of the stall. So I'm trying a bunch of different stuff, but yeah. Okay, guys, it's actually just not working, so hang on, let me try one more time. Yeah, no. So I'm gonna ride him, out onto the cross ties and, just pretend I led him. This isn't very realistic, but it's okay. Hashtag realistic roleplay. So I brought him out onto the cross ties quickly, and he has been groomed and everything. As you can see, he's very shiny. And they, the stable hands put a bunch of, like, coat softener on him and stuff, so he's soft and his hooves are picked and everything. So yeah, I'm ready, and I am using Chance's tack on him, and it fits him perfectly, so that's okay. And I tacked him up very quick, and now I'm going to get on my helmet because I certainly need it with Jet. Some of the horses I don't need my helmet, but I use it anyway, just because that's how I am. And we do have dinner here at the stables, and I just ate dinner. So there we go. And I got Jet's bridle on quickly, and I was prepared for it to be very, very, very busy out near out in the stable yard. So I held Jet's reins tight, and I got on him before we even left the stable because, yeah, he was walking super fast, as you saw, and kind of, just go, go, go. And there was one girl out in the stable yard. I thought there was going to be a lot more. So I walked him, and he was trying to trot the whole time, but I held him back, and I made him walk for a little bit. And we are going to trot some way down to the riding arena, but we need to walk most of the way just to kind of get him to get the concept. Like, I need to walk. Like, he can't be running around all the time, you know. And one of my friends, Charlotte, was with her horse. Her horse is an elite dressage horse, and she she competes in so many competitions with her horse. So there's that. And Jet will hopefully become one of the lesson horses. And as you can see, he keeps trying to trot, but I keep holding him back, and it's hard with him. But the trainers and at the barn trust me because they know I'm responsible with him. And I am wearing ball spurs just to kind of have a little more control over him. And I switched out the bit on Chance's bridle for a little bit of a stronger one, not to hurt him. And I'm using it just very lightly because I need to have control over him. So there's that. Since he was walking good for most of the way, I decided I'd bring him up to a trot here and finally let him trot a little bit just to stretch out his legs. And he is a very good trotter. He collects his head and he has a nice stride. It's just getting him to walk and be calm, which is the hard part. And I heard he's very stubborn with jumping, but they need a jumping lesson horse because they have a bunch already that'll be like flat work horses. But they need a few for jumpers because some of the girls that have signed up, they have already given them their like test to see, you know, what horse will match them best, and some of them they figured will like go from flat work to jumping very quick, and some of them really want to do jumping, so they need a horse that will cooperate, a horse or two. And some of them already do cooperate a lot, but they mostly have flat work horses because most of the girls that are coming to camp here are kind of novice riders and they haven't ridden a lot before. Like the most they've done is sit on a horse while their riding instructor leads them around, and that's what the Silverglade Equestrian Center summer camp is going to be all about. Kind of letting them learn independence and how to ride independently and kind of bond with the horse. And there are some that have ridden for a long time and are looking to buy a horse, but want to know what will suit them best. And some that have been riding for a long time but have only ever gotten a chance to do flat work and want to try some other stuff. So we have dressage horses that they could use, and flat work horses and jumping horses. None of them are interested in cross country, so that's one less horse we need to figure out. And some of them are interested in barrels, and there are a few barrel horses I have to run to kind of get those horses ready. And I will make videos on those horses, me getting them ready for other girls, but there's so many horses I need to get ready because the stable hands trust me and not many other riders here. So yeah, we are going to, now that we've kind of trotted and we've warmed up and everything, I think we can go into some jumping. And by the looks of it, the arena was sort of busy. Not much busy. Not really busy, but a little bit busy. I don't think anybody else is in here now. So I trotted him in, and I brought him right up to a canter. And as you saw, he tried to go down to a walk. He's stubborn like that. So first I brought him up to the cross rail, and he acted like he was going to jump it, but then he psyched me out and he stopped. And he wouldn't go over the jump, so I backed him up and I said very firmly, no. So after I backed him up, I turned him around and I decided I'd do it again. So I brought him back up to a canter to go back over the cross rail. And this time, instead of just refusing to do it, he stopped and he reared at it. So I thought maybe he was scared. So I stopped in front of it and I let him sniff it and stuff. And he was being very weird. So I decided we just wouldn't do the cross rail right now. So I cantered him. And I decided I'd canter him a little bit before we started doing jumps. So I kind of cantered him around the jumps, got him used to them. And he has a very quick canter, and he was trying to do other things than I wanted him to do. And I was thinking about trying a flying lead change, but we can't even get over a cross rail, so we're not going to do a flying lead change right now. And after I cantered him a little bit and kind of got him under control, I brought him up to a green fence, and I set him up and I pushed him with my spur because I felt him try to stop, and he went over it, but very reluctantly. I felt him trying to stop. That's why I nudged my spur into him to get him to keep going. And I see what they mean by he's a very stubborn jumper. He likes jumping and he has the perfect body build for a jumper, but he's just not. He's a stubborn one. And as we kept going over jumps, I had to push him over them, and then he would overjump them. So I decided I'd try a little higher, and I brought him over this green one. And he did good. He didn't overjump it. And then I brought him across the diagonals because he was kind of getting the hang of jumping now. I brought him over the first one, and then at the second one, he was all good, and then he reared. And I didn't know what in the world that was. So I turned him around, and I thought maybe I just had set him up wrong or something. And then he jumped over the white part of the yellow jump, which really confused me. So I turned him around, and I brought him back up for the diagonals. And this time he cantered super fast, and he did make it over that, but not very cleanly. So I didn't know what was up. And then we just went on to the yellow jump, and there were other girls running around, but I don't think that bothered him. And I brought him over that jump, and their horses started acting really weird as well, which I didn't know why, because I ride with those girls, and their horses are so well behaved, and they never are uncooperative. And then he came down to a trot, and I tried to back him up, and he reared again. And I didn't know what was happening because I lunged him really well before I rode him. I didn't show that part, but I did. And he kept rearing, and I was actually afraid I was going to fall off him. So I backed him up and said very firmly, "No, Jet." I thought, at this point, I was like, he has no chance of becoming a horse for children. And I knew it wasn't just going to be a one-ride thing. And it was going to be a lot of work. And no matter how many times I fell off him, I wasn't going to let him win this battle. I was going to ride through all the falls I fell, all the bucks he gave me, and that was the way I was going to go. And I knew I had lunged him out good. And then he started bolting, and he started bucking everywhere. And I just sat to the bucks, and I pulled him back, and he went over the green jump, and I thought for sure he was going to hurt himself. And he started cantering just wildly around the arena, and I was pulling back on him, and he just wouldn't stop. He was going everywhere. And he started galloping, and then he stopped in front of a jump, and he reared again. I didn't know what in the world was happening. So I stopped him, and we stood there, and I waited for him to control himself. Kind of just waiting a minute, and then I brought him back up to a canter, and I decided I'm not taking any of his crap. I was going to make him do what I wanted. So I brought him back down to a canter, a nice steady canter, and I cut off half the arena, kind of to make him listen to me. And then we went over this white-green jump, and he did it. He knew I meant business now. And then we went over the red one. Good. And over the yellow. And boom. And that time he kind of got a little messy, which was, okay. But he was very, 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 very sloppy. And he started bucking again. But this time he wasn't bolting, he was just bucking. And I didn't know what. And I brought him the other direction, I pushed my sprint to him, and he did a flying lead change, but he kept bucking. And I didn't know, so I stopped him, and I got off. I thought, well, maybe something's bothering him under his stomach. So I checked him, and I checked under his stomach, and I felt around, and his stomach wasn't hard. He was perfectly normal. And I checked his hooves to see if there was anything, like rocks or anything in his hooves. And I checked his mouth to see if his teeth were bothering him or something. I checked under the saddle pad to see if there was any dust or something that was bothering him. And I checked under the girth to see if maybe it was rubbing or if it was too tight. And nope, nothing. So I just got back on him, and I started cantering him again. And guys, it's normal me. And I'm gonna, do this part where I fall off him. But if I can't edit out the part where I get off him and go on the other side of the jump, then just, I don't know. I'm really bad at editing. So go back to the role play now. And I brought him back up to a canter, and I held him back, and he started going fast again. And I was worried that he was going to hurt himself trying to overjump some of the jumps. And he was flying over those jumps. And it wasn't impressive, it was scary because he's such a big horse already. He's an off the track thoroughbred, if I didn't mention. And he's so fast, and it's hard to sit to his canter. I mean, I can do it, but he's fast. And then he broke into a full on gallop. And I was scared. I was yelling and I was pulling him back and pulling him back and pulling him back. And he didn't care. He kept going and going and going. And then he headed right for the green jump. And before he slammed into the green jump, and I yelled right before that. And I flew off him and over the jump. And I landed with a thump on the other side. And there were two other girls in the arena, but they hadn't realized what happened. And I didn't know what had happened either. Everything was black and I couldn't see anything. All I knew was I was breathing heavily and Jet was freaking out. I heard him running around and I didn't know what to do. And then I heard something, and I heard sirens, and I heard somebody yelling, and then everything went black and I didn't remember anything. Okay guys, it's normal me again, and we just, I'm gonna try to cut out these parts, but I might not be able to, so if I can, apologies. Yeah. Apologies. Because I suck at editing. Woo! No editing. G-Wagon. Okay, guys, sorry. It was a few months later when I finally got out of the hospital, and it turned out I had broken my wrist, so I wouldn't be able to ride for a long time. I was disappointed, but at the same time I was relieved, so I wouldn't be pressured to get back on a horse right away. And I left the hospital and I headed back down towards the stable. I wanted to see Jet and see how he was doing, even though he was kind of the cause of my fall. I should have been holding on tighter, and I should have taken more control over him, and I knew that for a fact. I felt kind of guilty and didn't know if he was hurt or not, so I was worried. And I walked down to the stables, kind of scared to interact with horses again, but at the same time scared if Jet would be hurt. I didn't want to be the cause of anything he was hurt for, and just really wanted him to be okay. I also missed Chance greatly and wanted to get back on him, but I knew it would be multiple months before that happened. It was nice to see the stable again, I have to admit. I had a nice view of it from my hospital room, but I never got to see the horses or be around them. The smell of horses drifted out from the barn, and I was relieved. I wanted to run, but I had also sprained my ankle, and it was quite hard to. So I kept on walking, and I speed walked as much as I could, but I couldn't run. A bunch of the girls said hi to me, and I just smiled. I was kind of shy and embarrassed about my fall. I heard a bunch of girls had actually heard about it and seen me fall. So I was embarrassed, but not much to be embarrassed about. When I got into the visitor stable where I knew Jet would be, he was standing there, kind of gloomily, and he had wraps around his legs. I crouched down to see what they were about, and I lifted one up, and there was huge gashes on both of his front legs that were bleeding badly. And I knew it was because he had scratched his legs when he ran into the jump. I cried and I hugged him and I said, "I'm sorry, Jet. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." After a while, I finally left the stable, and I wanted to see Chance, but nobody would let me in the stable. They said it was too dangerous for me, so I couldn't go in. I wanted to run away and never come back, but I couldn't run. My ankle was starting to hurt, so I went back. And instead of going into my apartment, I decided I would go for dinner. It was multiple. It was almost. It was almost 8 o'clock, and I was starving. I barely eaten for the weeks I was in the hospital, and all the girls were also saying hi, and most of them were talking about my incident. I didn't want to talk to them, so I broke into a run, my ankle throbbing in pain. I covered my face as I ran towards the dining room. I ran and I ran as fast as I could. Some of the girls called after me, and others just looked at me. Once I entered the room and I, oops, guys, sorry. I sprinted up the steps and entered the stable, or not the stable, the dining room. I walked up and I didn't even say hi to Courtney, who was the chef. I went down to a table and I sat alone in the corner, wanting nothing to do with anybody. And after I sat down, I ordered some food. I didn't feel like having much, so I just ordered a burger, nothing else. And I sat there gloomily eating. I didn't know. I didn't know what to do or what I wanted to do. And I started thinking, well, when will I be able to ride again? Will I have the confidence to? And will I ever be able to ride like I did before? And that's how it's. And then I looked off the balcony, thinking about how dangerous the fall was and what could have happened. I knew that Jet was gonna be okay, but I didn't know any. I didn't. I knew Jet was gonna be okay, but I felt so discouraged. I didn't think I would be able to make him into an actual school horse. And, well, I got nervous. And that is part of that was only part of that story for today, and I'll share the rest of it with you guys another day. So thank you guys for watching, and I love you all. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the like button and turn on post notifications for more videos like that. For this one, bye!